Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle, and thank you for coming to my event. It's a book launch for the book that I wrote for my father, Children of Hope, the story of Minh Dao. And this book, I wrote it to also support the Vietnam veterans, the prisoner of war, and the MIA that are still missing or have not been returned from Vietnam. There are still 1,580 something MIA has not been returned. So the purpose of the event today is to raise funds to support the National League of POW MIA families.
Great. It seems like it was a very great turnout, right? About how many people showed up today?
Today it's about 150.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, and these are like friends, neighbors, and people that I know for a couple years,
Yeah.
or they saw me on Facebook, they friend with me, and they just...
Is this like going to be an ongoing event for next year, or this is just
Well, next year I hope to have this book translate in Vietnamese.
Great.
Yes, because we have the English version, and the next version will be in audios and also in Vietnamese.
Okay.
Then hopefully after that I will have a second book that will tell a little bit more my dad's life and all life in the United States.
Wonderful. How long has the book been out, and when was it exactly published for the people that want to know about it?
Okay, the book was published on March 31st of this year, 2020.
Okay.
It's been out since then, but I didn't have a lot of time because I was still mourning my dad's death. My dad passed away on March 2020. So it was a shock to me.
Sorry about that.
I was hoping he would be alive, so he would be joining my event. But I feel that he was with me today.
Yep.
It was very emotional because I did felt like he was with me.
Yeah. There was a lot of very enthusiastic and happy people today.
Yes.
With your event, and they embraced it well, and they were happy to support you.
Yes.
Now, when you publish the book, what do you foresee sending out the message to people that doesn't know about the situation?
Well, when we wrote this book, my dad and I recorded.
Okay.
And we wanted to share with the world, not just the United States, but everywhere,
Right.
the true story, the true events that happened inside that Hanoi prison,
Right.
the North Vietnam communist prison.
Right.
The communists used a different word. They didn't use prison, they call it re-education
Got
camp.
it. Okay.
But based on my dad's true stories and stories from many other POW, American or the South Vietnamese soldiers that were taken away and in that same situation. It's not re-education. It was a concentration camp. It was beyond your beliefs.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
It's a lot of torture, physically, mentally, inhumanely treatment, starvation, malnourishment, which is overwhelming.
Understandable.
Yeah.
It was I read part the book, and very well written, and I applaud you for writing it and publishing it. Since you published the book, did you meet new people, or have you met new faces?
Yes, since I published the book, I met a lot of new Vietnamese. I grew up in more of the Caucasian community
Right.
when I came to this country.
Right.
I have Vietnamese friends, but not a lot.
Right.
But since this book came out, I get to know more and meet many Vietnamese, South Vietnamese people,
Right.
and I love them. I always loved my Vietnamese community.
Right.
It's just like I was, not there at the time. But my dad, he always encouraged me, like, come with me to this event or that event. Honestly, I wish I did.
Right.
But I realized that, I have a lot of love and support from both the American and the Vietnamese community, the South Vietnamese community, and I appreciate it so much. I appreciate their support, their kindness, and their encouragement.
Has anybody from Vietnamese reach out to you?
Yes.
Okay. And how was that discussion?
You mean reach out to me about the book?
Yeah.
Yes. It was, I have a few that talked with me about the book or wanted to share with me about their stories.
Right.
So hopefully they were hoping that if I ever have a second book, and I say, yes, I would love to, because I am planning to have a second book. But the second book, yes, they reach out to me and they wanted to share their story.
Right.
Because interestingly, they were also the prisoner that was in the same prison as my dad. So they also share their stories.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I did ask their permission to have it on recording, which they allowed me to.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately, I can't mention their names because they still live in Vietnam.
Of course, yeah.
And I wanted to keep them, keep it private.
Of course.
Safe. It's safety.
Of course. Being in the U.S., I saw there was a lot of veterans in your event today, and what was their feeling about this event?
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
My dad always shared with me about the American veterans, the Vietnam veterans.
Right.
When I saw them today, and I met a few when my dad was still alive.
Right.
He came to visit me in my restaurant that time, and some of these veterans was there. And after hearing their stories, the story that my dad told me about, it was just, I'm so grateful for what they do. Many don't agree with me, but they didn't hear what my dad had to share.
Right.
It's heartbreaking.
Right.
Think about it. A lot of these veterans were drafted.
Yep.
And they were so young, and they come over. They went to a country that they've never heard of or been there before, and they fought a war for our safety, for freedom, democracy, and many of them never made it back.
Absolutely, I understand.
And they were so young when they passed away.
Yeah.
And again, many of them passed away or died during the war, but their body was never found. So that's what my dad shared with me a lot. I miss my dad a lot because sometimes when I listen to some of these recordings that we did and what he shared about them.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear these things, and I know how important your message is.
Yes.
Either if they agree with you or not, but you're educating them. You're educating the whole entire world. Publishing this book, and it's very important.
Well, I wanted to let them know we can't erase history, because if we erase history, we tend to repeat the same mistake.
Yes.
Think about what's going on right now.
Yep.
Did you see what happened it was a year ago with Afghanistan?
Yep.
Now it's happening to Ukraine.
Yep.
To the Ukrainians. Think about those little children like me. I was that young.
Yeah.
We had to escape from bomb. We had to find shelters. Then after that, we had to escape. And like I say, freedom is not free. You gotta sacrifice. And many of them sacrificed. Many of them never made it to see this freedom. And I'm grateful. I'm very grateful because I live in this beautiful country.
Right.
You know, and many will not agree with me, but you know.
Yeah, there's some people take this freedom for granted, and they look at it because they haven't gone through the experience of other people. They feel that they're not being grateful for what they have.
And you know, and I can't blame them because they never experienced it. But I would love for them to give it a chance to listen, to hear, especially when the South Vietnamese people share with you their journey to freedom. It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah.
It's not pack your bag and let's go. No, lots of planning, lots of sneaking around. And for us, we have fake identity because we were being watched.
Of course. Yeah.
After we were arrested the first time, the first failed attempt to escape, we were being watched. So then you have to change your identity.
Right.
I mean, I have a name that I don't even know how to pronounce.
Right.
So.
How was that transition when you came here?
It was culture shock.
I can imagine.
Yeah. We went through hell from the time we got on that boat, trying to make it through 2 weeks in the ocean.
Yeah.
Make it or die. That's it.
Yeah.
Live on the island of Indonesia, the refugee camp. But I had to say thank you to the Indonesia government. They were kind enough to take that many refugees into their country. It was tough, but we made it to America. In the book, I share every little detail, our journey to America,
right.
From the time we get on that boat, all the horrific event that we had to face.
Yeah.
We faced, and we just. I'm gonna tell you, PTSD is real.
Of course. How do you deal with mental health? I guess you could guide people.
Yes.
Similar things to that you went through.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I was raised in this country. I believe in seeking help.
Right.
Seeking for help, like going through a therapist.
Right.
Because when I wrote this book, I was in tears every day. It was just so emotional. Just to hear my dad's voice, just to hear the event that he went through, and then start remembering what we went through, I had to seek therapy.
Okay.
And my therapist, I wish she was here today, but she was on a business trip. She guided me through this book. And she's saying, it's good that you're opening up. It's good that people need to know. Yeah, the mental health was pretty tough, pretty rough for me.
Yeah.
But I'm better now that this is published. And I wanted the young generation,
Of course.
the millennial, please give this book, Children of Hope, the story Lemon Dao, a chance. Read it. If you feel that, my dad's story, it's too long or into too many details, read my story, part 2, where we escape. Then come back to read my dad's story. Then you will understand, because my dad's story can be horrific, horrendous with all the detail that he shared. It's beyond your wow, a human being can go through that.
I can just imagine the mental toughness and the shock that you have to go through.
Yeah, the shock was beyond understanding. I mean, I can't even tell you. I can't. I wish I could.
Yeah.
Just like, if I tell you, I start crying.
Understandable. Do you know that there's a in Florida they're pushing to teach the youth about Asian? They're pushing it
Yes.
for. You heard about that?
Well, sorry, I don't
No,
mean
go
to
ahead.
interrupt you. I remember hearing our governor, Ron DeSantis, there's a law to pass about the immigrant, the Vietnam immigrant or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but to appreciate them or something. I mean, I can't remember the whole thing, but I remember reading it briefly.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, like to recognize, especially immigrant like us, like the Cuban. They also escaped from their communist country.
Right.
We escaped from North Vietnam communists.
Right.
I wish I would read his law. I mean, what he passed again.
Right.
I will get back with you on that.
Yeah. No problem. How many people had you think that read the book so far? Have you looked into the analytics?
Yes, I did. Based from Author House report, there are a handful,
Okay, great.
a lot.
Great.
And I also see like a lot of them buy in bulk. I'm not sure if they buy it to distribute or they buy it, but whenever they buy like that, I ask Author House that I would take 30% of what I make to support the Vietnam veterans.
That's amazing.
So, and I try to do fundraising to support them. That's what my father wishes, and that's what I want to do too.
So, can you tell us about your fundraising or the events that do you have to support them and
You mean like the one today?
besides the one today? Is there
Well,
other
I
ones?
did. I went to the first time I introduced my book was in Texas
Oh, wow.
with the Vietnamese community, and that was a great support.
How much preparation did you have to do?
I honestly, that was like last minute, unexpected. So I didn't do. I wrote a speech and I introduced them to the book, and I did use the funds to support the South Vietnamese wounded soldier in Vietnam. I send them personally, the funds,
Right.
each of them individually.
Right.
I don't want to disclose their name.
Yep, of course.
They sent me pictures. They sent me thank you notes. I try to keep them safe because if I disclose their name,
Of course.
that Vietnam Communist government will not support
Yep.
that.
Understandable.
So
Understandable.
I would love to share with you. I mean, I have a group
Yep.
in my Facebook that they send me good morning every morning, or they wish me luck. And so,
Where do you see on the horizon now? Since you published the book, you did the fundraising. What's the next for you?
well, I would love to, and I'm still waiting for my sister, my little sister,
Yeah.
to give me her feedback. Because there is a university wanted to invite me and my little sister to come to do our speech about this book.
Oh wow.
Yes, I know that she stays in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
but my dream is to share it on PragerU. You heard about the awareness and about this book.
Okay.
So,
Where can they purchase the book?
they can purchase the book on Amazon.com,
Okay.
AuthorHouse.com, and BarnesandNobles.com
Okay, great.
online.
Great. And where can they reach you if they want to reach out to you?
They can reach me on Facebook.
Okay.
I have a page called Children of Hope, the Story of Minh Dao. They can reach me there.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward speaking with you again in the future.